I'd like to welcome everyone to our Dillon County Council regular monthly meeting, October 23rd, 2019. We're going to start out by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll ask Councilman McLeod to say the invocation.
Let's bow our heads. Most gracious and everlasting Father, this once more again we come to say thank you for your grace and mercy. We just thank you for keeping us under your care and under your will. We ask you to bless everyone here, individually and collectively. We ask you to bless the council, individually and collectively. Help us to work together for one common cause for Dillon County. All this we ask in your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Amen.
Number 3, approval of agenda requires a motion.
Make that motion.
Motion in a second. Motion in a second. All in favor? Any opposed? 4, approval of minutes. 9/04/19 called emergency meeting. 9/11/19 called meeting requires a motion.
I make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion in a second.
Second.
Motion in a second. All in favor? Any opposed? 5, public hearings. A, an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park of Dillon and Marlboro counties as to enlarge the park project traffic.
We don't have anybody sign up.
B, an ordinance to terminate and release a land option agreement between Joseph E. Coward, optioner, and Dillon County optionee for tax map number 068-00-00-030.
Nobody's signed up for that.
C, an ordinance to convey 0.352 acre more or less, which is a portion of tax map number 107-00-00-022 to the South Carolina Department of Transportation to grant permission for construction and other work on State 45 Lester Road and other matters pertaining thereto.
No one signed up.
D, an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of tax agreement by and between Dillon County, South Carolina, and a company known to the county at this time as Project Craft with respect to certain economic development property in the county, whereby such property will be subject to certain payments in lieu of taxes, including the provision of certain special source credits, and the county will provide certain roadway and infrastructure improvements to the site and other matters related thereto.
No one signed up.
E, a proposed rural development project consisting generally of purchasing 2020 Mack MRU 613 front loaded garbage truck.
No one signed up.
6, new business. A, PD Coalition. Glenda.
Site?
Yeah.
Good evening, my name is Rashida Fuller, and I'm the trauma counselor for PD Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Assault. On behalf of the PD Coalition, I would like to thank the council for giving us this time to express our appreciation for your acknowledgement of the necessity of our services. October is National Domestic Violence Month, and our goal is to raise awareness about domestic violence and the effects it has on families and the community. South Carolina has ranked in the top 10 states for the rate of murder of women for the past 17 years. Although South Carolina ranks number 6 in the nation, up 1 from last year, South Carolina continues to be one of the deadliest states in the country for women due to domestic violence. At PD Coalition from July 2018 to September 2019, we have provided 190 nights of shelter to victims. We have provided assistance to 85 families and filed 24 orders of protection. To assist victims, we now offer trauma counseling in group sessions or individual sessions. With the help of the community, we can reduce the rate of family violence in Dillon County. Again, we appreciate you as community leaders for your support of the coalition's work to end family violence, and we thank you for helping us to help make Dillon County a safer and more compassionate community. Thank you.
6B, Humane Society, chili cook-off.
Yeah, for the chili cook-off, they requested a contribution of $1,000. It's for Friends of Humane Society, Dillon County. It's for sponsorship for this year's chili cook-off.
We give the same amount last year?
Requires a motion.
Make a motion to give them this contribution, $1,000.
We got a motion, need a second.
A second.
Got a motion and a second, need discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? 6C, Davis and Brown Professional Services Project Craft, Water and Roadway.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if you look at this, basically we split the project up for Project Craft. We got a water and roadway project and a sewer project. This is the water and roadway project. Basically, you can look on page 4, it says $53,000, $25,000 for inspection, for each new inspection. If you look on the last page, it shows a breakdown, which I did you a little breakdown where the different monies are coming from for Court Cyclone, Court 8 Count CDBG, Marlboro Electric's already been approved, NISA, and the rural infrastructure grant. So we should be, before any work is done, we'll have to take it back to council. So the final approval, just by approving this contract, gives us a project to go ahead and move forward to get the engineering done. But until we get all the grants finalized, it'll, we won't sign the engineering grant until we get. But all of it should be covered by grant funding.
That requires a motion.
I make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Got a motion, need a second.
That's it.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, 6D, Davis and Brown Professional Services Project Craft Sewer.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we were talking with the grant people, Lisa Previtt and I, with the PDCOG. We talked with Rural Infrastructure Authority. They wanted us to break out the engineering so we'd have 2 separate projects. So Richard may understand this too, is that RIA likes to have their project done separately, which that's what we're going to do. So I told them I'd ask council, let's separate, instead of having one project, we'll have 2 separate projects, but the same engineer will do it. That way we can knock the sewer part out faster and get that up and running, because the state money's already been approved for that. So that's why we did it as separate agreement.
Requires a motion.
I made that motion.
Got a motion, need a second. Got a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? 6E, IT audit, Danny Holder.
I want to thank everyone this afternoon. A couple of months ago, I contacted an independent consulting agency that has no affiliation with really any company that does installations, purchasing of equipment, or anything like that, to give a state of an audit of the functionality of Dillon County's server system and network system. And I'd like to present Greg Handy with 2G Consulting as to get them to give the independent audit that he had given us, giving a summary.
Council members, thank you for your time. As Danny mentioned, my name is Greg Canby. I'm an information technology consultant. I've been in the industry 30 years at this point. I do not resell hardware or software. I provide advice and counsel on how to select and implement the hardware and software that agencies like you all use. And as Danny mentioned, he invited me in to perform an audit of pretty much all your technology, your internet security systems, your network infrastructure, your servers, your storage, your backups, basically kind of soup to nuts overview of everything you have. And I provided a written summary of that, which you may have in your possession at this point, I'm not sure. but they asked me to come in and just provide a 2 to 3 minute overview of those written findings. And in a nutshell, the news is not particularly good. Without exception, all of the systems you're running are old, they're unsupported, they're out of warranty. And that includes some critical things like the storage, the disk drives that your data resides on. Your internet-facing firewalls are no longer being updated or kept current. So what that means is that the county is at very significant risk of data loss just due to outage or data breach from some outside entity hacking into your environment. So my recommendation would be that you replace those systems with newer, current supported gear as soon as possible. With any questions you might have, I'd be happy to answer.
Is there an estimated cost on that if we upgrade all the way?
I did not perform any kind of cost estimation. I'll have to defer to Mr. Holder.
I'll explain that after you finish, but I'll take care of that part of it. I do want to say that I want to add to what he's saying. A lot of us may not understand the importance of that network system, but I want you to understand that he's talking about the system at the treasurer's office, which means people won't be able to come up and pay their taxes if that goes down. Payroll, as we can all relate to, and benefits, tax audits, tax assessment, and importantly the sheriff department and the library. So we have a lot of different, all of our departments on that network. And so it's been talked about for years now, and I know that it's not something that is in the forefront of our minds when it comes to what's important to the people, but trust me, if those services go down, if that network goes down, then that'll be very difficult for us to run even for a couple of days. I did want to make this known. He is not working with anyone selling equipment, so this is independent of anybody else that sells equipment. He has nothing to gain from what he has said. And I'm also currently working on USDA grants that will help take care of some of the costs. I'm not sure what we can do based on the necessity to lease the equipment for a certain amount of years before we can purchase it. If we do that, then there'll be certain costs associated with that. The total cost, if we purchased it, the whole system is approximately $300,000. And you don't have to tell me that we can't afford that right now. I understand where we are financially. I'm just giving you the facts of what we're facing and what we need to be saving for eventually. I'm not sure how much longer this system will last. I mean, it could be how long?
It really needs to be replaced yesterday. You've already had a couple of failures of gear, and Mr. Holder went to some extraordinary efforts to find spare parts. But when I say the gear's unsupported, you may have equipment that fails, and all of these components, they're electrical, they have spinning devices in them, that they will fail absolutely. And if you can't get replacement parts, you're stopped. You're going to experience an outage. And to the gentleman's point, these tend to be things that nobody thinks about them until they're not available, and then you're really gonna feel it.
Now, I'm not asking council to say, okay, we're going to get the system. There's still some work to do there as far as costs and as far as trying to get that cost to get a little lower. So, we're hoping that we don't have an outage tomorrow, but we're working pretty diligently to try to come up with a solution that's cost efficient, something that we can afford. There's some different estimates that could be in the neighborhood of $5,500 a month for 5 years. That would be, of course, a little more because it is a purchase lease option. That wouldn't start for another few months if we decided to do it. That may give us some leeway until we get into our tax collection season. But there's some things we're working on to try to make this affordable. But the decision's not mine, the decision's yours, however where you want to go with it. But I do feel like to help cover Danny especially, we do need to give you information on if things happen, this is why. So I just want you to know ahead of time that we do have some issues with our network, but we need to take some time and think about how we're going to actually address those issues. So that's all I have on that.
So can I add to that also?
Sure.
If that system does die, There's a possibility that all of the tax information that is on the server, all of the information for the sheriff's office, by the way that's on wall track, it could be totally lost forever, that we'd not be able to get the data back off of there if it does die. It would take approximately 6 to 8 weeks from the point that it died till we could get a new system in and get it implemented. So that means in that time period, the employees would not get paid. We would not be able to receive taxes, things like that. We're in the dire strait. It's to a point now that it's imperative something be done very soon.
Tony, can we expedite that process to try to get some final numbers as soon as possible?
Yeah, I'm working with 2 different companies to get some numbers. I have some, but again, it's around $5,500 a month, $300,000 total. That's about as low as I can find right now, but by the next meeting, I'll have something final for everyone so that you can make a decision on how you want to approach it. That's it. I don't know if we really require a motion for that. No. Nothing to vote on, really. I'm not asking for any funds right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
6F, PDRTA.
I'll take care of it. Now, I'll take care of this myself. PDRTA, the PD Rural Transit Authority, is looking at implementing a transportation system for people in Dillon County, not only for work, but for public use as well. What this is, as you may have seen in some of the other counties, and I'll just say, every county in this region, Marion County, Marlboro County, Florence, Darlington County, all these counties have this system, and all the PD region, with one exception, one hole in the middle, and that's Dillon County. And we're actually the region that is trying the hardest to implement economic development through industry. And so this is something that not only helps the industries, but it helps private citizens as far as going to doctors, retail, coming to the courthouse, to the judicial center. So there are a lot of different uses for this. And we're looking at having stops at all the major industries, all the major retail and government outlets, but also in areas such as Newtown, Riverdale, Oakland, Latta, Lakeview, Little Rock. All throughout the county, there are different areas that are going to need this transportation a little more than others. But we are offering everywhere throughout the county. So it's not just something that's going to affect 1 or 2 districts. This is going to affect the whole county as far as the residents are concerned. The total cost for the first year is $1.6 million. Now, the federal government is actually going to put in about $600,000 in that first year. State government is going to purchase and that includes purchasing the buses, is going to put in $750,000. There's a local match of about $250,000 that we have to make. But we're getting a lot of assistance from the industries themselves. See, this is not going to just help us. This is going to help the industries. It's going to help some of the different retail outlets in this county. And so what we have left, what we're being asked is to participate out of $1.6 million, $36,000 as a county. That's a lot of money for some, but that's relatively very small compared to what we're asking. Now, after the first year, that cost goes down because we've already purchased they've already purchased the assets, the buses, and so we still need $36,000 for a 3-year period is what we're asking the commitment. Now, that can be made monthly. And that payment doesn't have to start until December or January. I'm sorry. So we don't have to pay it right now. That's something that we have to commit to. That we're going to do $36,000 a year for the next 3 years. Now, I want to be very clear that this is not just something to help some of the industry. This is to help some of the private citizens not just get to work, but one of our main contributors to this project is going to be McLeod Health as well. They're going to participate as well. We're going to have the town of Lakeview, the town of Latta,
and kind of the city of Dillon are also going to contribute. But again, this is something that Dillon County needs to participate in. We're asking, again, $36,000 per year for the next 3 years. And there are other entities that are waiting to commit, but let's be honest here, it wouldn't make sense for someone else to commit if the county itself isn't going to do anything. They're waiting for us to say, okay, we're going to buy in as well. And once that happens, then there'll be other commitments to go along with it. But again, this is to help all the citizens. This is to help the industries, and just to help the county in general when it comes to economic development. Now, Clay's here, he can tell you that we do get calls, a lot of calls each month from different industries, different distribution centers. One of the questions, not always, but sometimes one of the questions they ask is about public transportation. This is something that's not just in this area. This is all over the country. A lot of rural areas are doing this. And so we get that question. And it'd be nice if we could say, yes, we have that. Even if it's not perfect, it's something that we're trying to do and we're trying to improve as we go. So again, we're looking at getting stops all over the county, from Lakeview through Dillon, Hamer, all the way down the ladder, and everywhere in between. And so we're asking for $36,000 a year, and that's something that we need to go ahead and make sure that if we can do it, we need to let
Can I make some
PDRT in.
comment?
Yes.
All of us got transportation. We don't really think about transportation, but there's so many people in Dillon County that don't. I've got friends, a lot of old people that have to go to the doctor once a month, and they people are allowed to charge other citizens $25 to carry them to Dillon and bring them back home. And we got that going on all the time. If it costs $25 to get to the doctor or go to work, living in Louder, what does it cost in Lakeview? It's got to be a lot higher. And you got people in Lakeview that want to work, and if anybody in Lakeview can work if they got transportation. But I was talking to a fellow, he said, I got a ride. This man carries us to work, there's 5 of us, goes in this one car. But this driver decides he ain't going to work today, or he's sick, 5 people are out of work. So anyway, that we could possibly help people in Newtown, people in Riverdale, people in Louder, Lakeview, Oakland, everybody needs it. We just don't realize how many people that don't have decent transportation.
Well, I think the other thing to think about, and I'm glad you mentioned that, the other thing to think about is, again, we have Marion County to the east, Marlboro County to the west, and Darlington and Florence County to the south and southeast. And all those counties have the same system. But we're the only ones in this area that doesn't. And that just,
can do it, looks like we
it is frankly an embarrassment that we don't have that, everyone else has it, and we're the ones with the inner port, and we're the ones that's trying to draw the industries in. So that's why I feel strongly about this, that we need to have this system, and yes, $36,000 is not money that we can just throw out, but I think for this purpose, it's something that we can afford. That's all I have, I mean.
Mr. Clyber, didn't we have something similar to this before?
We did have something similar before.
And why did they stop if it would work?
Well, first of all, what we had before, we didn't have the wide range of support that we have now from different industries. To be honest with you, we only had 1 or 2 industries, well actually one, and that was Harbor Freight, that actually participated and spent the money to do it. And we didn't get any of the private side, well, the public side to do anything. Right now, it's not just going to be for industry. It's going to be for citizens going to, again, medical facilities and other retail. So we're getting a lot more support now from actually the banks, all these different entities within the county, not just the industry. So that's the difference now, is that we're getting a broad range of support. And it's not just to get people to work. It's for other reasons as well.
Yep.
And it's paid by the month, the first year, and then the next year it goes down, is that right?
No,
It's 36.
we need $36,000 for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And the reason I say next 3 years, we want this to be permanent, but because it may expand, the cost may go up. But part of that cost going up is the fact that we should attract a fair amount of industry within the next couple of years, partially because of having public transportation. So that's something that if we do attract more industry and we do have to get more routes and it does go up, then those industries themselves will contribute not only through tax money, but also through contributing to the fund itself. So,
Will these people still have to pay to ride the bus?
no, this is not going to be a charge service. This is going to be a free service.
Requires a motion.
I make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Go to PDR, TA.
We got a motion, need a second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Amen.
Any opposed? G, NISA grant 2020.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I don't have a grant ready to go. I wanted to go ahead and finish out number 2018-2019 grant. And then I did talk to NISA today, and they will have some funds available again at the first of the year, which we will definitely apply for. And hopefully, I'm sure they'll work with us to approve it. But just want to give you a heads up, we're still going to apply for a 2020 grant. It'll probably be after the first year.
Requires,
No, it didn't require.
they don't require much. 6H, recreation request.
We only have one recreation request, and it's for New St. Mark Missionary Baptist Church. And they are having a Hallelujah Festival on Saturday, November 2nd, and they're requesting that y'all give a donation. Archie Scott is giving $100.
I'll give them a one.
Okay, that's all I have.
Requires a motion.
Make that motion.
We got a motion in a second.
I'll second.
Motion in a second. All in favor? Any opposed? 7, old business A, vehicle for coroner.
Okay, this is the, replaced car that Donnie was in a wreck with. Heard anything more about insurance?
No, I can tell you this 20,000 is not what they have offered us right now. We're working on trying to beat that up. That's more like 16, something like that, ain't it, Don? That's the last thing we got. About the insurance refund.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're trying to, I'm working with them, trying to get that up. That doesn't change the fact it needs a vehicle regardless of what the insurance pays us. That's just kind of the lateral issue, but,
So right now, they gonna pay us 16.4, but it may be 20.
yeah, I don't know if we can get them to that. We won't get them to what we can get them to.
But it is 16.4.
16, something like that. So it's over 16. I just didn't want you to think it was 20, because that's not what they're giving us right now.
Requires a motion. I know, before I make a motion, I'd like to just to say that, I worked with the sheriff's office for 17 and a half years, hardly get longer than that, and the coroner gets called out all times of night, but lots of times by himself. He doesn't have law enforcement, and he's got to have good transportation. He gets called out everywhere, in the middle of the woods or anywhere else, and you'd be surprised that he needs good transportation.
I'll make a motion, we buy the car.
I second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
8, finance report.
Not the finance report, this is as of October 18th. In our general fund, we got $2,953,856. Out of that, we got accounts payable of $2,054,774, which leaves us a net available balance of $899,081.
Anybody got any questions? 9, administrator's report.
There's a few things I want to mention real quick. First of all, the one issue that many of us want to hear about, the landfill. Right now, we do have 4 of our 5 trucks that are working completely. So we're able to take the trash we need to go to Bishopville, and we're also getting ready, we're spending one of the trucks to go to take tires, to remove the tires from the landfill. So we're getting that problem taken care of as we speak. The trash truck itself, the front loader, is running a little slowly, but we are working overtime a little bit to make sure that we get caught up. So I do want to say to the citizens who've been patient with us, we appreciate that, but we are going to go ahead and get caught up with all the trash that we need to collect. Any questions about the landfill or any of the equipment there? All right, the next thing, the roads. Now we were lucky or fortunate or blessed, however you want to say it, to have a mild and dry hurricane season this year. We did have a small hurricane, but it wasn't anything that saturated our grounds. And so, even with a little rain this year, we will be able to stay caught up with scraping the roads. It won't be like last year where every small rain, everything was saturated, so it just caused a real problem there. So we will have some problems here and there, but we're going to be able to keep caught up with that. But I want everybody to understand, rain happens. And if you live on a dirt road and it rains, it's going to be mud. I mean, we can't do anything about that. Just call us. You know, the number here is 774-1401. You call us, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. But, you know, that's just what happens when you live in a county with 600 miles of dirt road. We're going to have some problems here and there. But again, we're going to get to it as soon as possible. Now, speaking of our roads, we have, as many of you know, approved the purchase and spreading of gravel. Now, that has been slow to take place because we are hiring drivers and operators at roads and bridges. We have to have that. We have to have those licensed operators to take the dump trucks that have been fixed. And we've already hired one more. We need another one before we can commit to driving them all the way to Little River to the rock quarry where we get the proper rock. Because at the same time, we are being required to scrape roads. So we can't do both. We can't scrape all the roads and send everyone in the dump trucks. We just don't have the manpower for that. So as soon as we hire another driver or two, we're going to go ahead and start getting the rock, the gravel. But that's going to, I don't know how long it's going to take, but we're working diligently to find someone in that position. Any questions about that? I know you had some questions before, but
Yes.
okay. The last thing I want to say, we have, and I've talked about it before, I haven't talked about it very recently, but we still have a problem with trash. And I'm not talking about trash at the landfill, I'm talking about people throwing trash out by the bags and truckloads. Just this week, we've had someone who thought it was okay to take a truckload of trash and just put it on someone else's property and just dump it off. And I can't tell you how ridiculous that is, to think that you can just take a truckload of your trash, furniture, household garbage, books, and just dump them in somebody else's yard or on their farm or on their road, on their driveway. You know, that's something that we're looking to find out who has done those things. And this happened in the past week. It's happened a couple of times, and we're going to find who's done that, and we're going to take some action. Okay, so I just want everyone to know that the problem isn't fixed. I haven't talked about it in a while, but the problem isn't fixed. We still have people doing that, and I just want, and this is not on the council, I just want the citizens to take a little pride in where you live and not dump trash just anywhere. It may not be your yard, but it's still in this county, and that just doesn't, it doesn't sit well with me or anyone else who takes any kind of pride in Dillon County. So I did want to mention that. Any questions?
Yes, I got one, Tony. Have we hired another mechanic yet? If not, how are we advertising for that?
No, we haven't hired another mechanic. We are advertising through SC Works. We're advertising through the Dillon Herald. And, you know, as soon as we find one, trust me, I'll be at the next meeting letting you know that that'll be one of the first things I talk about. We are looking for a mechanic. Again, as we all heard last meeting, we spent an exorbitant amount of money on repairs for our vehicles in this county. And, you know, the kind of money that we spent over the past 10 years, we could have bought new trucks. We could have done a lot of things in this county. And You know, it's happened for a long time, but that doesn't mean it has to keep happening. We're gonna go ahead and try to fix that problem, and the mechanic, is it gonna solve everything? It's not gonna stop all the expenses, but it's gonna sure help, and it's gonna put a dent in what we're having to pay. And this matters because, you know, fixing that problem, or at least putting a dent in that problem, is how we can afford to pay for other things we need to pay for in this county. If we're spending $600,000 on fixing, you know, unnecessarily fixing trucks, you know, that's money that comes out of other projects that we're trying to do in this county. So that's why I've made such an issue of it, and that's why it's very important that we do get someone to help ease that a little bit. Thanks for that question, by the way. Anything else? All right.
10, ordinance readings. A, third reading, an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park in Dillon and Marlboro counties as to enlarge the park. Project requires a motion.
I made that motion.
Got a motion, need a second?
I second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? B, third reading, an ordinance to terminate and release a land option agreement between Joseph E. Coward, optioner, and Dillon County optionee for tax map number 068-00-00-030. Requires a motion.
Make that motion.
Got a motion, need a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? C, third reading, an ordinance to convey 0.352 acre more or less, which is a portion of tax map number 107-00-00-022 to the South Carolina Department of Transportation to grant permission for construction and other work on State 45 Lester Road and other matters pertaining thereto. Requires a motion.
Make that motion.
Got a motion, need a second?
I second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? D, third reading, an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of tax agreement by and between Dillon County, South Carolina, and a company known to the county at this time as Project Craft with respect to certain economic development property in the county, whereby such property will be subject to certain payments in lieu of taxes, including the provision of certain special source credits, and the county will provide certain roadway and infrastructure improvements to the site and other matters related thereto. Requires a motion.
Make a motion when it's third reading.
Got a motion, need a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? E, a proposed rural development project consisting generally of purchasing a 2020 Mack MRU 613 front loader garbage truck. Requires a motion.
Make that motion.
Got a motion, need a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? 11, appointments. A, Planning Commission, District 1, James Campbell.
No one at this time.
No one at this time. 12, adjournment, requires a motion.
Don't move.
Got a motion and a second? Motion and a second, all in favor?
No. Can I speak?
No, we ain't got, no, you're not on the agenda, ma'am.
I thought you had a place for this to go.
No, you have to sign up to be on the agenda.
I wasn't told that. I've talked to the administrator and
Okay.
I haven't talked to him. I've talked to the secretary. Yeah,